This is a 1990 Toyota Century, and it's essentially a Maybach or Rolls from 30 years ago. If you live outside of and you may not know the Century, but if you live in for transporting me, they used to offer it with a V12. That's right, a V12 in a luxury sedan.
But the V12 models are far above someone like me, so instead,
I must make do with this one. Now, this 1990 Toyota Century uses a V, but get this, the V is a 4-liter that makes only a 90 horsepower. That's a ridiculously small power output, but the engine was designed to be stressed with excessive power to provide the most luxurious driving experience humanly possible. So I'll show you around this Century, and I'm going to show you all of the interesting quirks and cool features of the quirks and features by climbing inside the Century. And of course, this is a Japanese market car, so it is right-hand drive, meaning that this is the driver's seat and the driver's door panel, which is rather odd. Now, if you take a look at the door panel, you will notice that there are 6 swoops. So obviously you're thinking, well, 4 of them are for the 4 power windows, the front doors and the rear doors, right? Oh, you couldn't be more. The 2 switches on the bottom do control power windows and the rear doors, but not the windows that you're thinking. You press the switch and then the rear quarter window opens. Over on the driver's side, press the other switch and the rear quarter window opens over on the passenger side. Press the switches the opposite quarter way and you can close these rear quarter windows automatically using switches. Now, if you move up from those switches, you will find 6 switches that do control the regular windows. Then there's only 6 switches left, which is of course rather odd. But then you're thinking, well, wait a minute, there's a problem because we've gone through all the 6 switches on the driver's door panel and we haven't gotten to the driver's window. Hello. Ah, yes, the driver's window has its own set of 6 switches. There are 3 switches mounted higher on the door panel that control the driver's window. The other 6 switches are rather crazy, but in the Century, 3 separate switches for 6 separate functions. And oh, do things get crazier from here. Now, I have no idea what some of this stuff does. For example, this little red button to the left of the steering wheel.
I really want to press it. Press it.
But it's labeled in jazz. It looks like it might be something important, and so I think it's best to just leave that unpressed.
I really want to press it.
But anyway, back to the climate controls, and you controlled that by pressing these buttons in the steering wheel. Interestingly, they were sort of built into the pad for the horn. If you press just outside these buttons, you get the horn. This seems like kind of an odd place to put the telephone buttons, but that's what Toyota decided to do. Take a look at this logo. It's this giant bird with its wings up, sort of looking like bird, which I guess is fitting for the Century. More on that logo in a little bit. Another interesting item, and in fact an amazing one, is the fact that this car has sport mode for both the engine and the transmission, and the 6 switches. I believe this car has hydraulic suspension for the smoothest possible ride, and this button in the center control stack that says TENENTS. You can press that to choose between normal or sport, and if you look down from there, there's a button that allows you to choose between normal and power for engine power. Now, speaking of the seats and their pattern, it's worth noting that the front, the passenger seat, has a hole in the back of it. Why is that? Well, the hole was there to enhance the luxury experience of course. Take a look at this. There is a little latch on the back of the backrest for the back. You pull it, and then the backrest comes down and lie down, opening up a hole and allowing you as the rear passenger to stick your through the back seat
so you could lie down back here.
I am serious. This is a luxury feature of the Toyota Century. And so with that in mind,
As you got chauffeured along in your Toyota luxury sedan, you simply sat back here,
relaxed and laid down while your driver did all of the hard work.